Hi guys, I'm Colin Craig, and I'm going to do a little comedy for you. Um, so I hope you enjoy it. So, I always wondered, what would it be like for a comedian to make his start through YouTube? Because usually, the first thing you tell the audience as a comedian is where you're from. Maybe you make a joke about it. But can you do that here? Because you're really from the internet now, right? This is where people will remember you. Oh yeah, that guy from the internet. So, I've decided, from this moment forth, my hometown is the internet. With that being said, I don't know why more comedians don't start their careers on the internet. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen when you're doing your bit? You can bomb, right? The audience doesn't like it. Well, how do you bomb a pre-recorded set? Do you mess up a bit? Because even if you get heckled after, it's like, hey, they watched it. I win. Epic fail. Great. You remember my set. So one more thing about the internet before we move on. When did the internet become such an op-ed piece? I mean, really. Because it used to be stuff on websites, blogs, and you had to find it. Like it was an underground, a subculture. So people that wanted to be on the net really had to say something. Now we have people on Facebook letting us know about their farts, or celebrities tweeting about politics like they're going to start a movement. But probably the best example, and I'm going to use a family member's Facebook post here, are those crazy moments that become better jokes than we can write as comedians. Recently, that family member posted, "Nerdiness is arguing with your boyfriend on character details of Wolverine and being genuinely disappointed in yourself that you were wrong." That's funny, right? But what I thought was, no, actually, nerdiness is correcting your girlfriend about character details for Wolverine. That's nerdiness. The other thing was honest interest. I mean, that's kind of what the Big Bang Theory show is all about, right? So to finally get to it, I'm from a little town called Greencastle, Pennsylvania. Well, no, scratch that. I should say that I'm actually from about 4 towns. There's a town where I was born. There's my first house I lived in State Line, Pennsylvania. And then Greencastle came up. And I lived a considerable amount of years in Chambersburg. What does it say about someone if they have to argue with themselves about what town they're from? Is it what feels good to them at that week? Hey, Chambersburg got burned down twice. That's kind of cool. Maybe I'm from there. Or, I grew up in a town which references the Mason-Dixon line. That sounds kind of historic-y. And what's the big thing I remember about Greencastle? The one thing that sticks out about that town? It's a town where a Confederate messenger intent on letting soldiers know what Richmond thought about the fact Lee was heading to Gettysburg to get shoes for his army got captured by Union troops. Yep, they're famous for basically encouraging the Battle of Gettysburg through great spy work. Awesome, right? Oh yeah, we only helped to bring about the bloodiest battle in the Civil War. No big deal. You want to know something else about the internet? I typed in "what is Greencastle, Pennsylvania known for?" and I actually got a Wikipedia page. They always say you want to see where your name comes up. Google yourself, right? Well, how about your hometown? It's a little frightening to know now that the little put-on-kick pieces of my upbringing are actually on the internet now for people to read. I also know that there's a time where comedians tell some jokes about the stupidest things they've ever done or come across, right? So here goes. Have you ever sneezed so hard you fell over? Isn't that one of the most embarrassing things that could ever happen? Where was YouTube when I did that, right? In middle school, 6th grade, walking to class, and without warning, achoo! I didn't realize then that I really should have said was, timber! Then years later, my family and I vacationed in, I think, Virginia Beach. And for one day, we went to this resort called Seven Springs. They have this awesome ride that's called the Alpine Slide. Now, I'll admit that I have cerebral palsy. a handicap which, among other things, affects my balance and makes it hard for me to stop myself when I gain steam. So I tended to fall a lot. Well, anyway, fast forward to now, and you have this ride which gives the rider control over how fast the rider goes down the track. Heck, my cousin went down it so fast one time he actually jumped tracks. So of course, I'm putting down the track like a grandpa at first, and when I finally get comfortable, I crank up the speed. Well, that's when a little dip on the track happened, and that really freaked me out. Now, if you're saying, there's the dumb thing, you're only half right. Because I panicked so badly, and my first instinct to stop myself wasn't to pull on the lever to brake. No. It was to stick my arms out towards the edge of the concrete track and use those as brakes. I had red circles of like raw skin and blotches of blood. That burned for several days. When I was in my teens, my family and I first rented a house in an area called Smith Mountain Lake, Virginia. The first year we went, we had a lot of lake space, so our parents rented like a Sea-Doo jet ski, and everyone got turns riding on it. Well, I would be afraid of speed because if you went fast enough, the jet ski would skip on top of the water. Well, I'd get about that fast, start to skip, and try to slow down, and it worked okay the first few times. But what I didn't remember was that in order to turn the jet ski, you needed water running through it. So the third time that happened, I was coming up on someone else's dock. So I stopped, and I figured I'll wait for the jet ski to slow to a halt and turn around. Well, it didn't ever really do that. I ran into 2 docks that day, beached the jet ski, and even had enough momentum after I beached it to break a branch over my head. Let's just say they don't let Colin ride a jet ski anymore. Finally, I have one thing I've done that probably tops them all, and it's not something inane like, I forgot my own name. No, it's more ironic stupid. That intelligent kind where it's stupid because you should know better. Well, every other morning in high school, I would come to school early to take part in choir practice. There was a bus that would pick us up sometime around 6:30 or a little earlier around the holidays. Well, one time because I was up late the night before, I missed the bus. Sounds innocent enough. But when you factor in the part where I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt in 18-degree weather, hopefully it starts to get interesting. My parents had always promised me, Colin, if you ever miss the bus, wake us up or let us know. We'll give you a ride. Sounds easy enough. But wait, there's more. I decided I didn't want to wake them that morning, so my brain said, let's run to school. I ran, handicap and all the way there in shorts and a t-shirt. It got to the point where I felt so warm from running, I could hardly tell it was winter. I didn't stop running until I got into the school and into the choir room, which was in the complete opposite end. By the time I sat down, I'd overexerted myself so much that I couldn't breathe, and I almost passed out. Now I bet you're thinking, yeah, Colin, that's pretty dumb. But wait, there's more. Because I was about to pass out, the school called an ambulance. They actually put me on a stretcher, made me breathe some oxygen, and if I hadn't felt better, they would have driven me to the hospital. So when my father comes to check on me, because of course, he got notified anyway, so much for not waking my parents. I had the option to pretty much stay home from school. But I didn't. I stayed. I mean, yeah, I rightly figured I risked my health to get here. I'm staying. Sounds reasonable enough. But as I look back on it now, I'm like, what was I thinking? Anyways, guys, I want to thank you so much for listening to my sit-down comedy, and I hope everybody has a great night.